Okay, sige. Thank you daw. May presentation na rin. So again, to share lang muna some of the projects I handled. No? So my very first project nung nakagraduate ako ng engineering and I passed the board exam is the Southern Starfleet project at the SMCC Philippines. So this is a company wherein ang naging trabaho ko dito for the first 2 years is quality assurance, quality control engineer, no? Or other SCOG materials engineer, no? So maybe some of you are interested also kasi kahit pa paano naman, inline pa rin naman yan sa structural engineering, but more on mga testings ng mga materials that we will be used on site, no? Mga testing requirements from the ASTM, testing requirements from the ACI or the American Concrete Institute, and other testing standards na sinet ng ating local government, no, such as DPWH. Okay, so this Starfield project is a 20,000 square meter na industrial project, no, in Batangas. Okay, so second project from industrial napunta ako sa infrastructure. So I became a civil engineer at Philcoy International Incorporated. So this is also a Japanese company. And recently natapos na yung neto, phase 1 nito, last year lang actually, no. So madadaanan niyo na siya from Caloocan to Espanya, no. Then ito yung sa pinaka-recent na project kung saan ako involved. So structural engineering consultant ako at DM Consunhi Incorporated sa North-South Commuter Railway, no. So this is a railway project starting from Malolos, Bulacan to Clark, Pampanga. Okay, so that's it lang naman for a brief introduction. Sige, okay. For the outline ng topic natin ngayon, so ito yung mga pag-uusapan natin. Anong overview ng Philippine Structural Engineering Landscape? Ano yung importance, no? Engineering consultants para sa development ng ating for the infrastructure development ng country natin, and ano yung mga crucial role, no? Someday baka kasi maging structural engineering consultant kayo, di ba? So, and fourth topic, ano yung mga best practices for a structural engineering consultancy? Then ano yung mga software solutions na kaya nating i-offer as a structural engineering consultant? Then lastly, retrofitting in a nutshell, no? So, brief introduction regarding retrofittings. Okay? So I hope naririnig pa rin ako ng maayos, no? So Philippine Structural Engineering Landscape. Okay. So we know na Philippines, no, especially in developing our countries, lalo na we go into urbanized country. So malaki yung role natin as a structural engineer kasi we use yung ating mga theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge para yung mga structures or other mga developments na gusto nating itayo for the what do you call this, para ma-improve yung country natin. So kailangan tayo doon, no? So for example, yung mga natural and seismic design. Let's say, syempre, yung mga itatayo nating building, so kailangan safe and resilient sila so that yung mga occupants ng building na yun, they can safely rest and enjoy yung mga amenities inside the buildings. Yung mga bridges natin, hindi sila matatakot dumaan kasi at any time, hindi naman guguho or magko-collapse yung mga yon. Okay? Then urbanization and infrastructure growth, yung mga tinatayo nating mga bridges, mga railways. So lahat yan, part yan for development ng ng country natin, and lahat yan hindi naman magsisimula if walang conceptualization came from a study na ginawa ng isang structural engineer, no? Okay? So building codes and standards, malaki rin yung role ng isang structural engineer sa pag-develop yan. Kasi yung mga building codes and standards natin, lahat naman yan na-develop based doon sa mga actual scenario, no? For example, yung nagkaroon ng mga malalakas na bagyo. So if ever na yung wind speed ng bagyo na tumama sa atin, let's say it is 300 kph or sa ng mga previous generations. So yun yung magiging basis natin in updating yung bagong standards in designing our bridges or buildings against high winds, no? Same also with design, no? Yung ating seismic parameter from the NSC, also based from the earthquake na na-experiences natin from the past, no? Kaya if ma-review nyo sa National Structural Code of the Philippines natin or NSCP, we have this 100-year return period, 500-year return period, meaning yan yung mga yan yung mga data na meron tayo from the past 100 years. Then with that, pwede na yung probability na ano yung chances na mangyari kalakas na lindol, 'di ba? So that we can consider yun sa mga i-design nating structure. Okay? Then pangapat, structural retrofitting and rehabilitation. So syempre may mga buildings tayo na nakatayo pa man ngayon, pero yung basis niyo for the design ay galing na sa mga lumang codes. So syempre nung dinesign mo siya, let's say 20 years ago or years ago, nung dinesign mo siya noon, yes, pasado pa siya in considering building codes and standards, pero as years goes by, 'di ba? Palakas yung mga lindol na nararanasan natin, palakas yung bagyo, and marami pang effects due to climate change. So, kailangan nating mag-conduct ng study as a structural engineer to assess those buildings kung sila ba ay safe pa ba tirhan ng tao or need nang i-rehabilitate. Okay? Then, next, technology and software. So, syempre, analyzing yung mga buildings, especially kung high-rise, medyo tedious, di ba? Kasi, pag-analyze pa nga lang ng beams during our college days, di ba, or sa school setup, medyo mahaba na yung solution, di ba? Single reinforced beam, double reinforced beam, and the other members, di ba? So, we need technology and software that magaling ka sa calculation, no? Pwede kang maging structural engineer but also a software engineer, no? So yung mga theory and knowledges mo in manual calculation, pwede mo siyang i-transfer into code so that you can prepare or produce, no, yung mga software natin such as STAAD, ETABS, no? So mga civil engineers din naman na programmer yung naging involved sa mga pag-build ng softwares na yun, no? Okay? So, another thing, maraming challenges sa industry natin. So, syempre, dumadami rin yung tao sa Pilipinas. So, may mga areas tayo na kailangan nating, na dati hindi naman tinitirahan, pero kinakailangan nating i-reclaim yung lupa. So, challenges yun kasi how can we say na yung area na yun is safe for human settlement, di ba? So, structural engineers together with other professionals such as geotechnical engineer, they conduct study doon sa area, safe ba siyang tirhan? Kung medyo alanganin yung lupa, anong mga possible treatments na gawin para maging safe yung lupa na yun to bear the weight of the structure, and what type of foundation they will be used, no, to overcome those challenges sa mga projects na i-design natin. Okay? So professional development and outlook and the opportunities. So as we go on, mapag-uusapan naman natin yung mga professional development and the opportunities in the future if you venture into structural engineering practice. Okay? Okay. So ano nga ba yung importance ng consultancy in structural engineering? So again, sabi nga natin, we live in a natural environment, pero at the same time, yung ibang parts nun, kino-consider natin for human settlement or for human use. So with that, tayong mga structural engineers, nagpe-play tayo ng major role in balancing yung built and existing natural environment. Paano? For example, halimbawa, sa bundok, di ba? So may mga part ng bundok na medyo steep, tapos hindi naman talaga sila okay for human settlement before, pero dahil wala na siguro masyadong sa Manila, di ba? Pag pumunta ka, especially sa province in Rizal, no, yung mga bundok doon, kinakat na nila yung ibang part ng bundok, nagtatayo sila ng mga socialized housing, okay, mga low cost subdivision. So, structural engineers, no, kailangan nating i-balance yun, na hindi lang sila basta-basta nagtatayo lang ng mga structure for human settlement. So, kailangan natin i-consider na hanggang saan lang ba yung pwedeng i-reclaim, kasi baka mamaya masobrahan sila sa pag-reclaim, so mag-cause yun ng instability ng bundok, magkaroon ng landslide, or if ever hindi maiiwasan, ano yung mga proposal natin as a structural engineers to counter yung mga possibility for landslide o di kaya yung mga other disasters na pwedeng mangyari pag nagkaroon ng malakas na bagyo or nagkaroon ng earthquake that will induce ground motions, no? Okay? Naiintindihan pa ba ako or nagiging chop? Sige. So, isa ito ulit, no, sa mga role natin, especially kayo pag naging structural engineer kayo. So, we need to share yung expertise and special knowledge natin, risk management and mitigation, optimize design and efficiency, compliance with standards and regulations, cost control and resource management, project management and innovation. Okay? So, iisa-isahin naman natin yan, no? Okay? So, for expertise and specialized knowledge, kaya siya tinawag na specialized knowledge, kasi structural engineering, although pinag-aaralan natin siya in civil engineering degree, pero napakalaki or napaka-broad pa ng scope ng structural engineering because hindi lang naman limited sa buildings yung mga structures na dinedesign natin, di ba? It can be bridges, it can be tunnels, no? Pwede rin yung mga specialized structures such as billboards, towers, okay? And halos lahat naman ng bagay, no, involve ang structural engineering or simply yung mechanics, no. So kaya kailangan very important, no. And even in the construction sector, kailangan din yung expertise or specialized knowledge natin kasi 100% naman ng design engineering drawings natin is pagdating sa actual construction, medyo mahirap naman siyang kopyahin to the point na kung ano yung as per plan, yun na yun din yung tatayong building. So at some point ng project, magkakaroon ng either clashings between structural engineering plans with the architectural plans or with other allied professionals such as yung mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection plans. So therefore, before mag-decide yung mga contractors, paano nila sosolusyonan yung mga clashings na yon, they need yung mga opinions ng mga structural engineers. That's why even a contractor hires a structural engineer to be their consultant, no? And that happens to be may engagement right now sa DMCI. Kinuha nila akong structural engineering consultant for North-South Commuter Railway Project, no? So pwede kayong pwede nun din yung maging role nyo. Pwede kang structural engineering consultant directly from the contractor. Pwede ka rin naman talagang may mga company na design consultancy lang yung ino-offer nila. So pwede ka rin magtrabaho doon as a structural design engineer, no? But anyway, both are okay naman and lahat yan marami kang matututunan, no? Okay? Risk management and mitigation, again, syempre yung mga structures na itatayo natin, we need to study yung situation doon so that yung mga i-design natin is safe, no? So syempre example yung itatayo nating structure for risk management, we need to study gaano ba siya kalapit sa existing fault line, no? Especially sa West Valley Fault kasi alam naman natin, no, as per PHIVOLCS, yung West Valley Fault na ngayon has a capacity na mag-induce ng 8.0 magnitude earthquake or even above, no? Although assumption lang yun because no one can quantify naman totally ano yung at kailan mangyayari, pero syempre as an engineer you need to consider, no, gaano kakalayo doon sa West Valley Fault. So syempre mas stringent yung design the more na mas malapit ka sa active na fault line, na. Okay? Optimize design and efficiency. So syempre pag nagde-design tayo, no, may tatlong criteria tayo na at least masunod. Hindi naman pwedeng nagde-design lang tayo na okay na as per code, safe na siya. Pero syempre kailangan efficient din yung design. So paano mo masasabing efficient or optimized yung design mo? Syempre pag nagkakaroon ka ng cost control sa design, hindi naman pwedeng pag nag-design ka ng beam, theoretically you found out pwede na palang let's say tatlo lang yung bottom bar, pwede na pala siyang ganun lang theoretically, pero in actual lang gagawin mo siyang 6 para sasabihin mo extra safe yun kasi sinobrahan ko yung nilagay kong bakal based on my design. Pero hindi na siya efficient and yung cost control, medyo sa sobra tayo, baka mamaya mag-short pa yung budget ng client natin, no? That's why may mga client din, no, na aside sa designer, nag-hire din sila ng in-house na structural engineer to review yung calculation ng designer kung okay ba. And yun naman yung naging role ko nung nasa Philco International ako. Yung sa second project na pinakita ko, yung NLEX S-LEX Road Connector Project. wherein yung team namin, hinire kami, no, yung Philco International as a consultant. Meron na talagang designer yon. Ang role namin, nire-review namin yung calculation ng designer kasi baka naman masyadong over yung design or baka naman mamaya during their design process, may mga nakalimutan silang criteria na kailangan i-consider para masabing safe yung project. No? Okay? So, hindi naman porket structural engineer ka, kailangan lang lagi ka nag-design. So, marami kang role, no? And last, yung project management and innovation, no? So, punta tayo sa innovation. As a structural engineering, in terms of innovation, ito yung karaniwan, mga nasa academe, yung mga nagma-masters, nagpi-PhD. Kasi karaniwang misconception, when we say structural engineer, nagde-design using NSCP, nagde-design using ACI and other relevant codes. But also, structural engineers in field of innovation, sila naman yung nagkakandak ng mga laboratory testing to develop new material, to develop new type of concrete, to develop new type of connection for steel, di ba? And isa sa mga sumisikat nga ngayon sa Pilipinas, 'di ba, yung bamboo, no? Yung utilization ng engineered bamboo. So another innovation 'yun from structural engineers na nasa field ng research, 'di ba? So pwede rin kayo sa field na 'yon, no? Okay, so 'yun, hindi limited sa hindi limited sa pagde-design sa industry. Pwede rin tayo sa research and academy if you want not to be a structural engineering consultant. Okay? So may question ba or concern? So pwede naman kayong mag-chat para later sasagutin ko yung mga questions, no? Sige. So what are the best practices in a structural engineering consultancy? So first, project management and collaborations. So again, ito yung feature namin sa DMCI when we conduct project management collaboration in the NSCR project. No? So shinare ko lang. Okay, so in project management, ang structural engineer sisimula yung trabaho natin in the detailed planning. It involves defining objectives. For example, we are to design a building. Ano ba yung objectives na i-design natin dyan? Yung
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Sige. Okay. So, yan. I-try ko lang muna siya i-open. Naglo-load pa siya. Ito, naka-open na pala. So, i-close ko muna to. Yan. Okay, so in Rivet, no, if you are starting, for example, this is the Rivet, no? In starting the Rivet, you should use a template na tinatawag so that you have a predefined setup. So for the model, I will just use new. And for this one example, I will start to demo the architectural. So ihanapin ko lang yung project template for this one. So gagamit ako ng default US Canada for the project template. Okay? So this is an architectural default US Canada standard. So open ko and so wait muna natin. Okay? So in 2024 Rivet, okay, meron na siyang theme na pwede mo siyang gawing black or pwede mo siyang gawing okay, parang AutoCAD or actually before this is light background or white siya. Okay. So for example, I am now in level 1. Okay, so ano yung maganda dito sa Rivet, no? Lalo na sa ating mga civil, no? So this is parametric. Okay, so I will try to have two views and then okay, after that, try ko lang siyang split into two, hoping na nakikita pa siya. And okay, so para na-visualize, no? So even though you are creating a 2D dito, meron na siyang 3D model. Okay. So for example, I will just create a simple wall. Okay, wall. And okay, meron na siyang mga predefined wall but I will try to use the 150 na lang. Okay. So this is just an example, no? Anyway, introduction lang naman siya, at least you have the idea. So titingnan natin dito what is the height. Okay, so what if I want the height up to level 2? So as default 4,000, but you can change the height, no? So set ko siya into level 2. And then after that, okay, gawin ko na lang siya. And okay. So what have you noticed dito sa nangyari now, no? We have now a 3D model. And that 3D model is automatically Okay? Sa top na sa level 2. And if you want, ang maganda dito, no? If you want to revise, for example, kasi sa project, ang pinakamarami is revisions. Okay? So, if there's a revision and then you want to revise, yan, update lang siya, no? So, hindi na siya tulad sa CAD or sa AutoCAD. Kasi sa AutoCAD is 2D muna and then okay, i-convert mo siya into 3D. And then isa pang feature ng Revit is meron siyang mga predefined libraries na pwede mong gamitin. Okay? So, pwede din, you can also create a customized library or you can also use the Autodesk. So, example, gagamit ako dito ng predefined, no? Which is the doors, example. So, door ako, tapos, okay, hanapin ko lang yung door na gagamitin. For example, I will try to use the residential. Then, okay, this one. Okay, may mga types dito. And then, okay, nandito yung mga standard sizes. Example, 900 by, okay, 2.1 or 2,100. Okay, so i-define ko lang siya. And if you notice, no, nag-automatic yung opening. Yan. So, ganun siya okay, parametric tawag dito, no? So, once you change, okay, affected ang 3D and plan. Even in scheduling, kung meron kang scheduling, pag in-erase mo to, yung count mo mababawasan. Kung 0 siya, automatically, okay, ma-erase or delete yung uh, schedule for doors kung ano yung tinanggal. Okay? So, anyway, I will just drag this one. Kung pwede siya, if you want na certain okay, distance for that, sabihin natin, I will add 100. Okay? Didikit ko siya dito ng 100. Yun. So, 100 na siya. And then, I will just erase na lang. So, pwede mong i-control ang distance niya. And ito yan. Okay. So, next is, gagamit ako dito ng window. And same, maglo-load ako ng library, no? For Autodesk na lang. So, W para sa Windows. Ang tawag pala dito is family. Okay, I will try to open the family for, and ito yung mga family natin. And okay, so okay, I will just use this one, then attach ko na lang siya dito. Okay? And so ito na. Then what if I want to center this okay location, no, ng window dito sa wall? I can just add, and wala na lang dito sa window natin. A door and equal. Okay? So automatically meron na siyang okay, center na sa midpoint na siya diyan. Okay? And then itong pinaka-challenge, no, sa lalo na sa manual drafting. I don't know kung may manual drafting pa ngayon, no. But before, meron syempre we have that subject for manual drafting. So ang pinaka-challenge even in AutoCAD, okay? Kahit sa AutoCAD mo siya, yung roof, how to create roof, no? So para sa roof, madali na lang siya. Example, I will try to change the level. Kasi masyadong mataas, okay? Sabihin ko, typical height 3,000 and automatically, okay, you will have a height of 3,000. So ganun kadali ang revision. And then what if I decided to create a roof, no? So meron na siya ditong tool that can create roof. So roof. Okay, so check natin dito. Okay, roof. Then I will have the overhang. Okay. Then ito. 1,000, no? So I will use 1,000 lang. Okay, so si Revit meron siyang capability to compute, no, ang mga slope natin. Okay, so yung design ng roofing mo. So example for now, I will just use the 30 degrees slope and i-finish ko siya. So naka-finish na, and then if I will try to click into 3D view, meron na tayong roof for that. Okay? So, pwede din if you want to example, this is ang tawag dito is hip roof, no? If you want to convert this one into gable, you can just change the property and change ko lang yung property niya. Okay? So, then i-close ko lang, i-attach ko lang. Okay, ganun lang kadali. Okay? So, you can also try this one, no? I know some of you may idea talaga dito sa pag-create ng plans. But in Revit, okay, parametric na siya. Ayan. So, sa isa pa dyan, no, as program natin for civil, no, so ano yung para sa project cost natin. So for example, I want to check, no, ano yung area ng wall. So actually, I can have that one by means of creating creating schedule quantities. Pwede na siya dito. So i-analyze ko lang rather than you will just check it manually by means of height, okay? And then the area, and then subtract mo yung opening. Dito automatically you have that area. Okay, so may tanong ba? Okay, any clarification? Parang may tanong ata. So pwede naman, you can just unmute lang and para masagot ko yung clarification nyo if meron. Okay, so anyway, continue ko lang. Okay, so I will just use this one tool, schedule quantities, and i-identify mo lang. Ang main idea dito is just identify what is the category. And the category for the wall is just wall pa din. Same lang sila. Okay? And sabihin ko, okay, ma-identify ito. Meron na akong area, and then ano yung thickness na ginamit ko. I can have the type name. Type or type, no? So, pag in-okay ko, ayan, kuha ko na yung area. But I can also modify that one into, okay, so sabihin ko i-sort ko siya into one. Sort by, okay, type. Kasi isang type lang naman yan. Tapos, kunin ko yung totals. Okay. Ayan. Oops. Ano yung nangyari dito? Sorting. Okay. Okay. So, by area. Hindi siya pwede by area lang. And then you can have na lang the totals. Pwede naman siya makuha mo yung total. Ayan. Then, formatting. Then you can add totals para makuha na natin. Yan. So, ito yung area ko for that wall. Okay? So, pagdating sa atin sa cost, no, estimate natin, talagang makukuha na natin. Just, alam nyo na, kung may Excel kayo, you can also divide na lang sa CHB natin. So, meron na. Okay? So, any clarification for sa Revit? No? Ang maganda dito, if there's a revision, like for example, i-change ko yung okay, ito this is ito no? So, syempre mababawasan yung area niya. Ayan. Automatic siya, no? So, na-define natin ang area ng wall. So, hindi lang siya wall. What if you have other component? Okay, so since civil, no? So, punta naman tayo dito sa structural. So, ano yung mga possible way natin na makikreate dito sa structural natin? Okay, so I will try to close lang. No? Then, create ako ng new. Okay, so again, no, reminder lang, in structural, hindi tayo pwedeng mag-design ng structural without architectural. So, kailangan yan, okay, prerequisite siya ng structural and MEP natin. So, for now, mag-a-assume muna ako, class. Okay, so I will just use okay, this one. Structural analysis default metric. And open. Okay. So, okay, gagawa ko dito ng grid, no? So, gawa ko ng grid dito. Meron siya. Ang maganda dito, kung for example, you have the grid, you have this grid bubble. And meron na siyang naka-indicate for the column index. So, 1. And if you notice, I will try to have 5,000. Automatically, the next is number 2. Then you have number 3. Okay? Yan. Automatic siya, no? And, okay, ito. 0 muna siya. I will just create a line. And change ko into A na lang. Sabihin ko A. So, once detected siya na naging A na siya, okay, naging A na yan. So, if I will continue the creation for the grid bubble, so, example, 5,000 again, automatically, okay, meron siyang, ito, BC, no? Nag-update na siya. Continuous na. And then you can just adjust na lang. Okay. So if you encounter that, for example, meron kang multiple segment, no? Kasi nangyayari yan pag irregular na masyado yung property line. Okay, so you have this one. Meron tayong multiple segment for that. So, okay. Ang gagawin ko lang is dito ako mag-start. Example lang to, no? And tapos papunta doon. Chain. I will just check lang. Okay. And so, meron na siya dyan. For example, then 2, okay, prime na lang example. Ayaw ata gumana ng apostrophe. Ayan. So, pwede siya dito, no? You can create multiple segment in Rivet. And then, aside from that, no? If I will try to have the 3D view, so, pakita ko para at least mas maganda siya. Ayan. Shaded na lang. Ayan. Okay, so, I will active the level 1. Start ako sa level 1 example. And, okay, split ko yung view, no? So, this one. Okay, ito yung magandang, for example lang, the design is center. Sabihin natin center yung column. Okay, so, pwede siya, i-define mo ano yung column mo. Okay, and dito sa grid, meron dito create column at grid, no? So, pwede na siyang i-create automatically. But before that, check ko muna yung height niya. Okay, so, dalhin ko siya hanggang level 2. Then, select ko lang, and tapos na. You have the column, no? So, meron ka ng column. If there's an intersection, you can erase na lang yung mga unnecessary columns. And, or pwede din dito ayan, automatic siya, no? So, yun yung capability niya as, okay, BIM. And, next, pwede tayong maglagay ng, if I will try to select all the columns, okay, so extend ko lang pababa, no? Pababa siya. So, sabihin ko 1,200. Negative. Okay, so extended, you can also add, yun na nga, yung para sa atin, no, we have the tinatawag natin na mga footing, no? So example, I will just use this one or litan ko lang ang size. Like, 1, 2 na lang, no? Then, okay na yan. This one, example lang naman to. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2. And automatic siya if you click, no? Yan. Nasa baba na siya dyan, no? Meron na siya. Automatic yan. And so you can just neglect the warning, automatic na-attach na siya. And kasi mina-minus niya yung depth, no? Yan. And then for example, you decided na i-match siya dito, pwedeng gamitin to. Okay, so yung problem lang, wala akong offsetan ko na lang siya, no, ng 1,200. So what if I decided na match siya dito? Okay, you can also create irregular if you want. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . .. . . . . .. .. . Pwede naman rectangle na lang. So, negative. And okay, then you can just change the thickness if gusto mo siyang i-update. And okay, so makaka-save siya ng time talaga, no? So, and then aside from that, if you have now the model, okay, you can also analyze, ma-identify mo ano yung mga problem na ma-encounter once you implement the design. So, isa dito, like for example, yung mga common na encounter ko is the ramp. Okay? Kadalasan if they are using CAD lang, hindi makita yung ramp, no? Minsan yun yung problema, no? Yung clearance ng ramp natin. At least you should have at least 2.1. Okay? Then, isa pa, like I have this last project. Mula doon sa ilalim niya, ang designer kasi automatic siya na nag-matting, no? Mat ang ginamit niya. Hindi na-anticipate ang pipe. So, pwede siya, allowed siya, pero risky na siya, 'di ba? If dadaan yung pipe mo sa loob ng okay, foundation natin. Ang possible kasi diyan, if merong seismic activity, okay, nagka-crack 'yan. So, pag nag-crack, kung may mga okay, liquid or doon sa sanitary, possible mag-leak 'yan. And then, alam niyo na mangyayari sa rebar natin. So, as possible, okay, kung nakita sana 'yun ng mas maaga pa, nilagyan sana ng at least clearance, at least 600 mula doon sa okay, basement level para at least mayroong para sa mga pipes. Okay? So, 'yun yung mga like at least if you have program, ma-anticipate mo siya. Ayan. Okay, next is you can also actually convert the for example this column, okay? Pwede ko siyang palitan into yan. Okay? Madali lang siya, oh. Pwede mong putulin, pwede mo na lang or you can also create one. Okay, then for example, I will try to add beam dito. So, lagyan natin ng beam. Okay, so I think I will just use na lang I-beam. And so, as you notice, may I-beam dito. Then, for example, I will try to split this one as possible. Sana mas maganda kung sa gitna, no? Okay, change ko lang, medyo lalagyan ko lang siya ng rafter, no? I will add height. So, sabihin natin 1.5. And this one, 1.5. Okay, sa kabilang side. So, pwede din dito na lang i-type ko 1.5. Okay, so what if you decided to have connection, no? Nag-create ka ng connection or plate dito. So, pwede siya automatically, it can create plate. Pwede yan. Okay, so si Rivet, meron din siyang library for that. So, you have two options. Either you can use the prototype model according sa EISC standard, meron siya. Or you can also create your own connection. So, for example, dito muna ako sa EISC muna na standard for that connection. Okay, so I will just add lang yung mga prototype na kailangan ko. Okay, for example, dito, no? I will have the haunch. Okay, so medyo naglo-load lang siya. Hintayin muna natin, no? So, yan. For example, this Apex haunch, no? Isang connection na pwede siya gamitin dito. Ito kasi naka-inclined, I can have this one. Ito na lang, clip. And base plate, no? Pwede tayong mag-add dyan. So, ito yung capability niya, no? So, I will just click the connection and then find that prototype and then, okay, click and spacebar ko na lang. Then, after that, maggagawa na si Rivet ng connection for that, no? So, pwede mo siyang i-change pa yung parameter kung hindi siya same sa specification mo. But for now, ayan, meron na siyang connection dyan. Ito. Okay? So, mabilis lang yung creation natin. You can also create the connection, for example, dito. And okay, so for the plate, same. Okay, but again, i-adjust na lang siya kung masyadong malaki yung plate niya. So, based on ito yung ginawa niya, no? Ayan. So, i-adjust na lang yan. Pwedeng i-change ang parameter niya. Or you can also create manually. Okay, by using this fabrication element. Again, if you can create, you can also, okay, schedule. Naka-count yan. Okay? So, like sa wall na simple, no? Para at least madali lang. So, yan yung para sa structural. And then, if you have a structural component, you can also use this one para isang model na lang, hindi na siya, isang gawa na lang, no? Hindi ka na paulit-ulit ng model. Kasi before, if we have the model, ulitin mo ulit siya sa STAAD. Ulitin mo sa, you will also remodel in example, ETABS, if you will use ETABS, no? But ngayon, meron ng mga solution for that, no? For example, si Rivet, si STAAD, you can have this one na ISM. ISM ang gamit nila. So, ISM Rivet, okay? Automatic yan, imamap mo lang and then you can have that model. Then, papunta sa STAAD. Okay? Pati yung offset ng sections, kasali siya. Okay, dito naman sa ETABS, maganda sa CSI Rivet, no? Meron siyang capability if nag-design na siya. For example, ito pwede mong ibalik to sa ETABS, no? And then doon ka mag-design. After you design, once you have now the rebars, may mga cutting list na sa ETABS, pwede mong ibalik siya dito. Okay? So, ang tawag doon is bidirectional. So, pwede siya sa, okay, Rivet natin. So, actually, pinakamagandang tool, no, for designing ang Rivet natin. Modeling and integration for structural analysis. Okay? And meron din siyang robot. You can also, okay, use robot, no? Ito yung robot niya. This is ito. Yan, structural analysis, no? Na once you design, you model, pwede mo siyang ipasa doon sa robot and okay, you can design. And ang maganda doon yung license. Mas mura yung okay, robot license. Okay, so pwede siya doon ang analysis mo and then you can excel yung iba. Okay, so that is for structural. Okay, so madali lang dito yung structural natin. And close ko, no? Even though we are not in line sa other discipline, pero maliban na lang, what if you are a master plumber? Kasi we are allowed naman like sa akin. So, I am also master plumber. We are allowed to have exam, di ba? Sa master plumber. So if you are a master plumber, what if you want to create layout, no? So you can also actually, and then you can also create, no, the design. Kasi kaya niyang i-design 'yan. Ang mga laws natin pwedeng makuha doon. And then yung mga fixture unit, pwede siya. So ang advantage dito if for example for plumbing, I will try to have the plumbing. Meron siyang slope, no? Na hindi kaya sa Rivet. Okay, so yung iba na if you are using the SketchUp pa para sa 3D model ng pipe, okay yun. But ang problem, encounter that one, ang problem if there's a revision. Yan. Pero dito, if may revision, you can easily modify the layout, no? Ganun siya kaganda. So anyway, I will try to have na lang for uh, plumbing. So ang problem kasi dito, wala akong plumbing okay, reference, which is the RKey. Wala tayong mga components. Okay, so mag-a-assume muna ako. I will try to load muna isang water closet. para makita nyo lang yung capability niya. Okay? Pero I know some of you marunong na dito or may idea. Kasi well known na yung Rivet ngayon. Okay, so we have dito sa systems and plumbing, no? So nandito yung mga piping, you can create pipe directly or you can have the plumbing fixture natin, this one. So I will try to drag na lang, i-drag natin. And so pipe plumbing ito. Ayan. So anyway, ang problem kasi dito, wala daw akong existing na hinahanapan ako ng floor dito. So load muna ako ng water closet. Plumbing. Okay, so I will use the default na lang na plumbing. Water closet. Okay, so ito lang ata yung possible na magamit. And change ko na lang into plain lang, work plain para dito na siya. Ayan. Okay, so isa dito class, isa sa kailangan mo for plumbing layout is you should have sectioning, no? Kasi i-align mo yan, dalawa. Section and then plan. So I will try to create a section. Meron din ditong sectioning, no? You can also have section. And then you can also view the section. Madali lang makita yung section nandito. Pwede mo din ilipat sa kabila if you want. Okay, so example, I will try to add a pipe. Okay, so ano yung pipe, no? So ito kasi ang default. Actually, you can create dito kahit anong pipe, no? So i-define mo muna sa library ang piping mo. Okay? Kasi wala siya dito what if you are using sa water PPR. So you can have that one. Okay, so PVC lang muna. Okay, as default. And then yung maganda dito is you can actually nakikita siya. Ayan. Okay, for now, example, wala mo ng slope So, ayan. Try ko muna. Okay? So, pwede mong iset ang elevation mo kung ilan. Example, I will have 600. So, if you want to display this pipe sa 3D view, okay? So, nakabaon kasi siya at negative 600. Okay, I will adjust the view range na tinatawag dito. Then, I will have negative 1,000 na lang. Okay, so ito na yung pipe, no? Then, you have two options if you want to display a symbol or symbolic line for the pipe or you can have the 3D view. So, change ko na lang siya into fine para makita siya. Okay, so if I will try to use this one, ito yung advantage dito, no? For example, may slope siya. Okay? Pwedeng i-change ang slope. Ito, change slope natin or ang slope niya, no? So, saan papunta yung slope mo? Pwedeng i-point control mo siya, i-change. Papunta ba doon or papunta dito? Okay? So, yun yung advantage dito. So, what if my slope is 1%, no? So, i-finish ko lang. And so, nandito na siya. Ayan. Okay. Pabaliktad pala. Check natin sa section kung anong nangyari dyan. Isa pang section. Yan. Tama, no? Tama. Yan. So, I have this pipe na, no? Mayroon siyang slope na, okay, you have that slope na 1% or dapat itadrag ko lang to. So, kung gusto mo siyang i-update, you can just update lang the slope. No? You can type 2%. Kung gusto mong 2% ang slope niya. Ayan. Now, what if you decided that gusto mo siyang i-connect na? Halimbawa, okay, ito. Ito kasi walang slope to, no? At 45 degrees. So, you can just directly drag, but you should use the change slope property so that magma-match dito. Okay, so I will just drag this one and automatically, okay, ayaw. So, malayo ata masyado ang height nito. 500 lang, no? So, nasa negative. Okay, sa demo. Okay. So anyway, i-negative 500 ko na lang siya. Ayan. So, oops. Dito siya, negative 500. Okay? So pwede mo siyang i-drag, no? Masyadong malayo kasi. Then you can just directly drag that one. And pwede na siyang mag-connect, no? Ayan. So meron na siya dito, then you have the 3D view. Okay? And okay? So I think for now, ito lang muna yung madidemo ko as part of my profession as civil and okay, master plumber. Okay? So any clarification? Okay na? You can actually unmute natin kung gusto nyong mag-tanong. Meron ba? Okay? So again, if you want to learn how to use Rivet, no? Nag-o-offer si Microcad for that. Okay, so we have online class and face-to-face, no? So sa face-to-face naman, marami dyan sa NCR. Kung gusto nyo online class, we have also online class. Okay, thank you. Okay, so may tanong, may clarification?
Thank you so much po,
Thank you.
Engineer Al Rupert Sidro, for your very informative presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much po, sir. And allow me to read Certificate of Appreciation. This 15th day of September 2024, I am this Certificate of Appreciation for your exceptional performance at our meeting. Thank you for your invaluable questions. May I request for everyone to turn on your cameras for picture taking with Engineer Al Rupert Sidro. Once again, sir, for your participation. And let me take this moment to recognize Mr. Tadeus Mangila Adjosa of Carl for your participation in this webinar. Right? Last but not the least, we're almost at the end, but we have one last exciting topic. Our next speaker, Engineer Christian Acosta, is an expert in safety and compliance in civil engineering. He's the Vice President of KingSafe Training, Consultancy, and Services Corporation, and the General Manager of Atsoka Learning Hub. He also teaches at National University, and Engineer Acosta will be discussing common risks in civil engineering projects and how to ensure complete safety regulations.
Sound check. Part nga please, if naririnig po tayo. Part please, if naririnig tayo. Thank you so much.
Hello, sir. Yes,
Alright,
everybody.
so thank you, Donna, and the rest of the team. Congratulations for this event. So let's end this meeting with a safety first mindset. Yeah. So let me share my screen. All right, so good afternoon again, everyone. The agenda is safety first, no? Especially sa field ng civil engineering. So this is a recent, no? Merong ginagawang roadworks. Dalawang sasakyan po na magkaibang oras nahulog madaling araw. Yan. So this is an accident. So therefore, the mindset I'm going to share with you, and the first question is, can accidents be prevented? Yan ang goal na dapat nating masagot this afternoon, no? So what we're doing now first is to give safety awareness sa lahat ng mga viewers natin. So let's define the difference between incident and yung accident. Yan. So incident is any unexpected or unwanted event, whereas yung accident is unexpected or unwanted event that results to personal injury, property damage, work stoppage. Yan, worst case may namatay. So, yan po yung mga pinagkaiba ng incident at accident. So, let me ask everyone, ano yung mas malala? Pwede ba sila mag-type sa chat box? Ano po yung mas malala? Incident or accident? Yan, at least the goal is to give you safety awareness to everyone. Ano yung mas malala? Incident or accident? Pakitype nga po sa chat box natin. Yan. So, let's see. Yun. So, accident, kasi may namatay. Tama, no? Yung sabi sa, natin, sa chat box mo. Accident, kasi may namatay. So, for a while lang, Kita niyo pa yung screen? Sorry. Kita niyo yung screen? Pa-heart nga again, please. If kita niyo yung screen. Nawala sa screen ko eh. Thank you.
No, sir. Yes po.
Thank you so much. So, accident mas malala, no? Yan. Common types sa construction industry. Fall from heights. May nahulog. Yan. From heights. Hindi nahulog sa alam nyo na fall, no? Iba yon. So, temporary structures, excavation, may nahulog sa roof, sa bubong, sa moving equipment or vehicle. Yan. So, it reminds me of an accident in Makati, whereas nahulog sila sabay-sabay in a temporary elevator, causing everyone to die. Yan. So, na-overload. Lunch break yon, nagmamadali silang kumain pababa. Na-overload, hindi sila nakarating sa baba. They died. Lahat. So, ito excavation and trench work. It's another common types of accident in civil engineering or in construction. No? Cave-in, may nahulog sa mga inuhukay, hindi makahinga, naubusan ng oxygen. Yan, yun yung excavation and trench work, no? Then ito, construction machineries and equipment. The proper usage, di ba? As basic as yung mga simple tools, martilyo, di ba? Sa martilyo pa lang, walang electrical yun na yet napupukpok natin yung sarili nating daliri. How much more doon sa may mga talim, may mga tulis, sa mga grinder, yon. So, they need proper handling, they need proper education sa paggamit ng mga, at least as basic as grinder, di ba? Meron dapat mga guards. Yan. So, sa power tools, paggamit ng mga machines, marami pong na-aksidente, mga lacerations and something. Dapat nga ipapakita ko dito yung picture na may dumudugo-dugo, pero yung ganitong klase na lang, no? Yan. So ito, crane. So do you remember an accident na I'm not sure if sa Parañaque, may nahulog na girder ng Skyway. Yon, nagalaw siya ng crane, yung boom ng crane no umikot, but nung umikot yung crane, out of balance, therefore causing it to push the girder out kasi nakapatong lang yun, i-install pa lang yun. So may namatay, unfortunately, namatay po sa safety officer reporting to work in the early morning of that unfortunate event. So yung mga crane operators should be knowledgeable enough sa sa pag-ooperate. Pero tingnan nyo on that scenario, crane operator yon, may certification, nag-aral yon, yet nangyari pa rin yung unfortunate na event na nangyari, no? So, sa accident talagang may root causes yan, may mga dahilan na kailangan malaman at matukoy natin. Electrocution. Nakahawak na ba kayo ng na ground na ba kayo? As basic as that. Kumbaga nakahawak na ba kayo ng wire na pagtingin nyo, ay, open pala. So mayroong something na, diba, nagulat kayo, may nag-ground kayo dun sa charger ninyo, for example. And the common cause of fire, sa totoo lang in the Philippines, the number one cause is yung overload ng mga ng electrical no sa kanya-kanyang bahay. Yan. So hopefully sa atin at your own home sa kanya-kanya po ninyong lugar, pakitingnan po yung inyong mga electrical connections diyan at sana maayos. Yan. So oras na niya, sabi nila for accident no. Pag oras mo na. Malas niya lang, di marunong kasi kasama sa trabaho yan. We are civil engineers or some of you in the future will be civil engineers. Ang pinuntahan po nating industry is high risk ang category in terms of field ng safety. No? Therefore, talagang kapatid natin nasa job ang trabaho. Pero since alam mo at we're familiar na lapitin tayo sa accident, dapat tayo mismo ang number one na mas maalam at mas aware. So, paano ba yan pipigilan? Hope you agree with me, no? May mga ganito, no? Sabi nga ng iba, minsan, may narinig ko to, overheard ko to minsan sa kwentuhan ng magkakamag-anak na aksidente sa site yung isang construction worker. Yan, oras na daw niya. Yan. I hope na hindi ganyan yung maging full mindset natin na parang since may mga accident na nangyari, okay lang siyang mangyari. Sana hindi ganun po ang maiisip ng karamihan sa atin. So accidents are caused, they don't just happen. Everything has a cause. Yung pagdating nyo dito as a cause, di ba? Yung pag-apply nyo sa universities na ina-apply nyo ngayon, kung nasan kayo ngayon, may dahilan. Kung paano nyo nakalala yung bebe ninyo, may dahilan. Lahat ay may dahilan. So kahit accident, it has a reason. Yan. So lahat po tayo may dahilan, no? So, since may dahilan, ma-review natin yung pinanggalingan ng accidents. Yan. So, yung some more slides natin dito, tutukuyin po natin yung mga reasons behind an accident. Yan. So, how to prevent ourselves from performing unsafe acts? Simple lang po, no? What we're doing now, congratulations po kay sa group ng Ininyerong Civil kasi they're giving you the safety awareness. At least, we instill in your minds the mindset na ang accident ay napipigilan. Yan, with proper motivation, safety training, and supervision, we ourselves can spread safety advocacy. Yan naman po ang kailangan. Lalo na po sa mundo nating mga civil engineers. Alam niyo yan, sa job site, di ba? Napakarumi ng lugar natin. Doon pa lang, dusk, di ba? Binabahin ka na. Masama yung yung ilong mo dahil dun sa madalas na pumapasok, yun na eh. It's a hazard. Kung ano yung hazard, define po natin mamaya. Definition ng hazard. Ayan. So, it's all about hazard and risk. So, hazard is a phenomenon that poses threat to the people, structure, or economic assets and which may cause a disaster. As small as yung nasa harap mo ngayon, ano bang mga meron dyan sa paligid mo, that can be an example of hazard. Yan. Pakitingnan na po yung katabi mo. Hazard po ba yan? Yan. It's because a person can really be a hazard. Ang tao po ay pwede rin maging hazard. So, maraming klase ng hazard, no? So, these are anything that poses threat. Sa ngayon, posibleng hindi. Pero pag lalong napabayaan, lalong hindi napansin, sooner or later, it has a negative effect on you. Yan, it is a negative effect on you. So yan, isa-isahin po natin yung mga hazard, no? So physical, it affects the senses. Sobrang madilim, sobrang maingay, sobrang mainit. Yan po yung naka-classify as physical hazard. It is something that, na give you, it's either situation or a personal thing, gamit, na may extreme effect sa senses mo. Pagpunta mo na lang sa labas ng bahay, 'di ba? May mga panahon tayo nung summer na sobrang init talaga, ibang-iba yung tirik ng araw ngayong taon kumpara sa mga previous years. So that's a hazard. Yung araw yung nagiging hazard. So we need to protect ourselves, 'di ba? It's either wag ka na lumabas or you put sunscreen kung kinakailangan, no. And another thing is kapag nasa job place ka, sobrang ingay, may nag-bulldozer, yun. So, di ba, hindi na kayo magkaintindihan ng mga kausap nyo, and it's a common activity or noise sa ano natin, no, sa workplace natin. Kaya nga pag construction nakalimit siya ng 8 to 5 lang. Hindi proper naman kasi nag-iingay ka pa ng gabi in a construction setting unless it's a very vast piece of land. Electrical. Again, parang example kayo na, no, sa electrical accidents. Electrical is very much common. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, ito yung pinanggagalingan number 1 ng causes of fire, apoy. Yan. So, yung mga electrical overloads. So, electrical hazards, no? Yung mga nakikita nyong mga faulty wirings, I hope kahit sa bahay nyo lang mismo magsimula, bigyan nyo na ng atensyon. Bigyan nyo na ng atensyon. Hihintayin nyo pa ba? Yun yung tanong ko, hihintayin nyo pa ba na there's something na biglang may puputok dyan or what? So, you need to take charge, lalo na kung bahay, no? Sa office, lalo na. Minsan, in a workplace, pagtingin nyo dun sa ilalim ninyo, yung saksakan, talagang salasalabat yung mga wirings, hindi na alam kung saan pupunta yung mga wires. Sobrang daming nakasabit. Yung iba pala dun, wires na lang talaga. So, you need to be somehow, aware dun sa workplace ninyo, lalo na dun sa bahay ninyo. As basic as yung desk na lang ninyo sa bahay kung nasan man kayo ngayon. Mechanical hazards, no? Mechanical is, yun nga, simple tools. As basic as simple tools, as advanced as those equipments, mga heavy equipments. Yung mga effect ng mga mechanical hazard is basically may hinahawakan ka, may na-operate ka, yan. So it requires a lot of knowledge to operate equipments. Hindi siya para sa lahat, especially sa nagmamagaling. Dalawang bagay yun sa mga naapektuhan talaga ng hazard dito. It's either lack of knowledge or too much confidence, skills also. So parang sasabihin ng ng operator, sige, kaya yan. Kaya binuhat yung isang crane, binuhat yung isang mabigat na bagay, nag-tilt yung crane, nahulog siya, and that happens. So, aniwasan natin sa mechanical hazard. Mas struck by, madikitan, magulungan, di ba? Nandyan yung mga pison and something. So, yun yung makakategorize as mechanical hazard. Biological. Sige nga po, on the chat box, pakitype nga po yung pinaka-recent na alam nyong sobrang nagbigay ng effect sa atin sa buong mundo. Ano yung pinaka-recent na nagbigay ng, alam nyo na, kaya tayo nandito, no? Sa sobrang nagdulot yan, di ba? Thank you. It's coronavirus COVID-19, no? Meron pa nga daw bago sana, di ba, na minomonitor, and we hope na hindi siya magbigay ng effect sa atin. So, virus, yung mga alaga rin natin kasama dyan, mga aso't pusa, kunyari saliva, ganon, contaminated, ganyan. So, we need to know, kung mag-aalaga po tayo, dapat alamin nyo. Hindi pwedeng walang alam. Kasi syempre, possible na magkaroon, both ways, win-win. Pag alam mo yung sitwasyon, kung paano tamang alagaan yung pet mo, may iwasan mo magkasakit siya. Di ba minsan nagkakasakit siya sa aso, parang common yung sa kidney, something ganon. Yon. So, kailangan matuto tayo, mag-alaga. Kung mahal natin kung for parents talaga tayo, kailangan nating mag-aral ng kung paano magtama mag-alaga ng mga pets natin, di ba? So, if not, possible, baka maging hazard lang rin siya sa inyo, di ba? So, biological, fungi, yan. So, it's just anything that causes sickness naman. So, sakit. Sa workplace, kung alam nyo lang, 86% ang nagdudulot ng negative na effect sa workplace. Sakit po. It's either health issues versus yung yung mga nagiging accident. 86% ay health issues sa workplace, sa trabaho. Nagkasakit ka sa di malamang dahilan. It's either nahawa ka ng virus or what. So, the very common, actually, just to share, I'm not a nurse, but sa mga naririnig ko sa mga course training, yung isa sa mga alarming ngayon na virus that spread in a workplace is yung AIDS. Yan. So it is something that needs to be addressed, lalo na sa mga trabaho na usually yung mga night shift, ganon. So, meron pang iba, mga hepatitis, yan, so tuberculosis, kasi this viruses spread kumakalat yan. So, kailangan bigyan ng much more attention. Yan yung pang biological hazard. Chemical hazard. This actually can be classified under physical. Kasi ang effect ng chemical hazard is yung sa senses din natin. Sa balat, di ba? Bleaches, yan. So, pintura, masakit yung amoy, yung mga ganong klase. So, yan yung mga mag-fall under chemical hazard. Ergonomics and behavioral, kasama rin pala yan. So, let me give emphasis sa ergonomics. Kasi ito yung something new. Something new sa atin, no? And very common sa workplace. Kahit ako, medyo, di ba, sa, natin, sa posture natin, kamusta ka? Like, ikaw, na nakikinig sa atin ngayon, kamusta position mo? Nakahiga ka ba? Nakaupo? Nakatayo? Yan. Kamusta ba? Have you stretched? Yan. So, that is ergonomic hazard, no? So, ergonomics kasi, it is the science, no, na dapat yung work tsaka yung tao is nag-a-adjust sa isa't isa. So, therefore, dapat sumusunod po yung yung workplace, yung tamang height ng mga silya, yung tamang height ng desk mo, yung tamang location, no? Ang goal is to maximize yung work output. Kaya nga po, nagkaroon tayo ng mga fast foods. Anong sekreto nila? They have a very good and very efficient kitchen. Doon pa lang sa arrangement ng mga kitchens nila, nagkaroon tayo ng maximum output of production. Ganun din sa ergonomics. Yun yung goal. Itong hazards naman is nagiging causes ng mga health conditions natin. Manual handling, masyadong mabigat. Yan, hindi ka sanay magbuhat, no? Pero bigla kang pinabuhat ng ng isang galon na tubig, 'di ba? Sakit braso mo. Repetitive motion, especially yung mga hindi naman dapat, like lingon ka ng lingon sa likod, ba't di mo na lang itilt yung mesa mo? Something na it needs to be studied. Yan. So meron tayong mga experts sa ergonomics, no? Forceful motion, pagbuhat na rin ng mabibigat, awkward posture, yan, static posture. So, hindi ngayon, but someday, lalo na yung mga laging nasa office lang, kayo po ay possible magkaroon ng musculoskeletal diseases na meron kayong concern sa back pains, sa buto ninyo, sa mga joints and ligaments, na kailangan talaga i-address ng mga doctors. I'm an example. Sa totoo lang po, isa po example, dahil sa, since pandemic natin, lagi lang nakaupo. Nung talagang puro online, di ba? So, sarili ko mismo yung example, nag-undergo po ako ng physical therapy nung 2 months ago. Kasi may back pain po ako ngayon. May back pain po ako na-discover. Talagang, in short, tatayo, kailangan tumayo. Yun. So, every 2 hours, actually kahit kung kaya 1 hour, kailangan nyo pong tumayo at maglakad-lakad kahit paano, no? So, that's why, very important yung mga break time. Yan, dapat every 2 hours, tatayo muna at maglakad-lakad. So, yan po yung sa ergonomics. Ito naman, behavioral. What is about behavioral, no? It is a reaction by a person subjected to specific working conditions na nag-result sa accident. Mismong tao mismo, no? Example, no, living objects in pathways that causes obstruction and tripping. I have an experience sa job site, talagang break time nila. Nag-install sila ng tiles. Gabi yun sa mall, no? Break time, install ng tiles. Talagang yung huling pokpok ng maso dun sa tiles, dun iniwan ng mga workers. Nagmamadali sila for a break. So that needs to be addressed. Kasi syempre, malay nyo, gabi, madilim. Hindi masyadong ang ilaw pag sa gabi, di ba? Ang trabaho gabi. Tapos biglang may naglalakad doon, may kailangan maglakad, di napansin yung maso. So what could happen? Di ba? So yan yung mga Kaya ako nasabi kanina, kaya natanong ko, pakitingnan nga po yung katabi, kamusta po ba yung behavior natin dyan? Yan. It's because tayong tao mismo can really cause and can really become a hazard. Yan. So, yun yung sa behavioral hazard. Alright? So, ito no, let's address. We get to know the definition of hazard. We need to know yung risk. Yan. So, example ito sa kulay green, no? Hazard is something that has potential to harm you. So, may pating. Tama ba? Pating ba yung nakikita ninyo? So, sample may pating. And then, another example, no? Dito ba si Ira? Si Ira at si AJ, nakita ko lang sa participant, sila yung let's discuss the risk. Si Ira, si AJ, tsaka si Charles. Yan. Si Ira at si AJ, kunyari magjowa sila, no? Nasa seaside lang, nakaupo, naglalaro ng buhangin, versus si Charles na nasa dagat lumalangoy. So question, si Ira at si AJ and si Charles. So ang tanong, sino yung mataas yung risk na makagat ng shark? Sino yung mataas ng risk na makagat ng shark? Si Ira, si AJ na nasa seaside lang o si Charles na nagsuswimming? Yan. Sino yung mataas yung risk? Pakitype nga po sa chat box. Hope it clears. Sana clear sa inyo yung question. Si Ira at si AJ, then si Charles, yung nagsuswimming. Wala kasi siyang kasamang bebe. Siya yung third wheel, kaya nag-swimming muna siya. So, ganun. So, that's risk. Risk is, a chance. Si Ira at si AJ, zero chance. Unless megalodon pala yung, yung nandun sa event na yun, no? Zero chance na makagat ng shark. But si Charles ay merong some percentage from 50% and above na makagat ng shark. So, it's isipin niyo siya as a meter from 0 to 100. Or it's a likelihood for it to happen. Yun po yung risk. Yun po yung risk, no? So, sinasabi na risky. Pag risky, mataas yung chance na mangyari na, kunyari, risky masyado yan, ayaw ko puntahan yan. So, mataas yung chance na mangyari nung ayaw mo. So, yun po yung risky, di ba? So, pag pinagsama yung hazard, tsaka yung risk, ito po yung definition ng safety. Safety is the control of hazard to attain an acceptable level of risk. Yan. Safety. Safety is a control of hazard. So, sir, ba't kailangan i-control? Yun yung goal natin kasi hazard is the one that can give us the potential harm. Para maging safe tayo, we need to control. Example, COVID. Yung tinet po ninyo sa chat box, no? COVID. Ang COVID, kinontrol natin, hindi natin natanggal. What we did is, yung mga PPE, face mask, yung mga shields and something, hindi kasi natin natanggal. So, yung mga injections, yun? Yung mga, di ba may mga, may mga injections tayo, no? So, yan po yung hazard. So, we need to control. To attain acceptable level of risk, risk is always nandyan sa atin po. Meron lang yan certain percentage na acceptable. Yan. So, in a sense, sa field ng safety industry, yan po yung definition ng safety. Control of hazard to attain acceptable level of risk. I hope at this point, kahit paano po, maalala po ninyo ito. Bilang mga engineers, alam po ninyo yung potential harm nung site, di ba, na meron po tayo. Sa site na lang po ninyo, isipin nyo, pikit mata ninyo, isipin ninyo yung mga hazard na nakalista po doon. And yet, it's our job. So, kailangan nating i-address. Kailangan natin i-control. Pag di nangyari yun po yung accident na ayaw nating mangyari. Pero kung accidents can be prevented, yes, it can be prevented. Kasi 98% ng causes po ng accident, tao po yung gumawa. 2%, hindi natin kayang kontrolin. Sige nga po, any idea on the chat box, ano yung 2% na we cannot really control? It recently happened, tapos meron pang dalawang paparating, yung isa nakalabas na sa PAR. Yan. So, ano kaya yung 2% na we really cannot control kahit anong gawin natin? Yan. So, acts of God, acts of nature, correct? Thank you po sa mga sa mga nag-chat. Appreciated yung ating discussion. So, risk matrix. Risk is a product of consequence and likelihood. Yan, no? So, consequence is Kung negligible, parang wala lang, malayo. Di ba yan yung malayo sa bituka? Yun eh. Negligible, wala lang. Malayo sa bituka yan. Di ba? Hanggang fatality deaths, patay na. So, consequences. Yung likelihood naman, highly unlikely, posible mangyari, sa very likely. So, sa ibang risk matrix, no, maraming paraan. Ito kasi is color-coded or may high, medium, low. Sa ibang paraan, sa ibang risk matrix, mga numbers. Yan. So, kung nyari, consequence is 3, likelihood is 3. So, risk is product of consequence times likelihood. So, 3 times 3. So, 9. Yun yung risk rating. Yan. Importante po ito. Kasi, it's an important skill natin mga engineers that we know how to evaluate an hazard. Yan. So, yan po, no? It's always consequences. How bad can it be? Yan. Devastating ba yan? Kumbaga parang, ano ba yung iniwan ka ng jowa mo, for example? Ano bang epekto sa'yo nun? Parang sanay ka na, normal na sa'yo yun. So, parang minor injury lang sa puso mo. Or how bad? Parang mamamatay ka na pag nangyari yun. So, yun po yung consequences. Likelihood, yung gano'ng kadalas ang minsan, diba? Yun yung gano'ng kadalas. How likely it can happen. Yan. Alright, so let's go with safety compliance, no? Yan. Before that, kailangan natin kilalanin yung batas. It's a recent law, Republic Act 11058. So nakalagay po dito, an act strengthening compliance with occupational safety and health standards and providing penalties for violations thereof. So, you will discuss yung very important features ng batas. It is a law signed recently by President Duterte on 2018. So, bagong-bagong batas na nagpapatibay ng compliance po ng safety. Therefore, merong nauna. Yung Labor Code of the Philippines, yun yung nauna. But, maraming pasaway po. Kaya nagkaroon ng ganitong bagong batas na nagpapatibay ng compliance. Therefore, ngayon, sobrang active ng DOLE, OSHC sa pag-iikot. Yan. So ito po, no, salient features, no. Ano po yung engineers tayo, no? Ano po yung alam natin na guide natin sa structural? NS, ano nga po 'yon? Ano nga po yung alam ninyo? Yung guide natin kapag nag-structural design po tayo at ginagamit natin sa RCD Steel, yung reference book natin. Pakitype nga po. NSCP, di ba? Meron na yung bagong version ngayon yung nag-iwahiwalay na yung malaking book by na. So, sa mundo ng safety, it is Occupational Safety and Health Program, OSHP. Yan po. Napapaloob po dyan sa program yung lahat ng kailangan sundin per company po ay iba-iba. Iba-iba mga programa per company. Nandyan lahat. Biblia po yan ng mga safety officers. Nandito lahat. So, dito nga yung mga tingnan nyo, may mga health domains, RA 9165, drug-free, mental health. Yan po yung sa laman ng program. Malami pa yan. Kulang pa to. Marami pa tong program.
Thank you, Sir Sairi Egat, for this opportunity.
Ayan. So, meron tayo dito na safety officer. Sila po kasi yung gumawa ng safety program. Yan. Safety is the implementation of OSH program. Safety officer shall be employed or designated with the following duties. Isa-isahin po natin, no, para makilala nyo siya. Oversee the overall management ng program. Pwedeng iba po yung gumawa ng program at iba rin yung nagma-manage ng program. So iba po yung pumirma ng program at iba rin yung overall na nagma-manage ng program.
Second slide po, ready.
Yan. So frequently monitor and inspect any health and safety aspect of the operations. And then kapag dumalaw yung government inspector, yung mga safety officers po yung nagko-conduct at kasama assistant ng ng DOLE inspectors. Pinaka-powerful nila is work stoppage order. For example, may operations. Ang construction is talagang di ba? Ang puso't natin is yung time at yung cost, ma-save natin as much as possible.
Okay. Mga safety.
Therefore, it's a common idea sa natin, sa workplace natin ay magmadali. Di ba kailangan magmadali? But
announcement po.
Hindi dapat
Wala po
laging
tayong
magmamadali,
police
no?
and any event.
Hindi dapat laging
Sa mga
magmamadali.
iba po na
Therefore,
nagko-complain ng
Nandyan po si safety para bantayan yung operations natin, yung buhos, i-check yung mga, yung ano nyo, yung preparations bago magpabuhos. Maayos ba yung mga naka-install na tubo, yung mga support, yung mga formworks and everything. Yan. So, sila po yun. Sila po yung nagmamatsyag. It's all about safety. Sana ma-appreciate po ninyo, no? Dati ako ay operations din. So, naiinis ako sa kanila, basically. But with proper safety awareness, no, dyan mo malalaman at ma-appreciate kung ba't nila yung ginagawa. Yan. Alright, so may mga categories po tayo ng safety. Meron po kasing dalawang category, no? May COSH at BOSH. Construction yung COSH, basically construction. Yung BOSH naman, non-construction, operations and something, no? Mga non-construction. The BOSH starts at SO1, while COSH starts at SO2. Sir, ba't walang SO1 yung COSH? Kasi mamaya, may category level ako pakita. So, yan yun. Entry level ng COSH, SO2. Entry level ng BOSH, SO1. So, SO3, sila na po yung tinatawag na safety practitioner. Then, si SO4, sila yung pinakamataas, no? Sila po yung safety consultants. Yan. So, ito po yun. Ito po yung gusto ko emphasize sa inyo. No? Paano malalaman po ba kung sino yung dapat i-assign? Depende yan sa number of workers. Dati ang akala ko, no, depende siya sa number of floors ng building, hindi pala. Nakadepende yan sa number of workers. So for example, construction ng field natin kasama natin sa construction yung mga chemical plants, petroleum. So high risk category po tayo. Therefore, COSH, kasi construction no, COSH no. So, SO2 agad. Walang SO1. Tingnan nyo, 1 to 9. SO2, 10 to 50, SO3, 100 up, something yan. Combinations na po ng ibang levels. Yan po. Sir, sino yung mga low, medium risk? Mga offices or mga big offices? Operations. Wala ng construction. Tsaka wala ring mga mga sa hierarchy po kasi natin malalaman kung ano yung category ng workplace. Hierarchy is important document in terms of safety. Hazard identification, risk assessment, and control. Alright, so safety compliance, no? So, kamusta ba yung mga construction projects natin? Safety compliance refers to adherence to established safety standard. Yun nga po, ang mangyayari, si Dole po ngayon ay mas, mapagmatsyag. Mag-visit yan randomly, walang kaalam-alam yung company. At doon nila malalaman kung ano yung mga, kailangan bigyan ng attention. And since meron tayong bagong batas, 11058, no? Maliban sa 11058, may mga tumutulong pang regulations, yung RA 6541, Philippine Building Code. Kasama yung mga code na alam natin, electrical, plumbing, may mga po yan, safety. Ito po, no, to make it clear, ang safety kasi sa field ng engineering is medyo different ito sa safety na din i-discuss ko. Ang safety sa NSCP is safety nung structure na hindi mag-fail. 'Di ba? Yung tamang torsions lang, 'di ba? Baka maalala niyo sa mga reinforced concrete design, steel design natin. Yun po yung safety, no? So may safety constraint po yung building sa structural, sa field ng structural. So discuss ko naman, it's literal na safety ng tao. When connected naman talaga doon sa building. Pero let's give that to the proper structural engineers. Sila po yung nakakaalam sa safety talaga in terms of structure. Ito naman is safety ng operations. Tapos na yung building, no? Ng operations naman. And actually during construction din talaga. Safety ng mga tao, ng workers. So safety compliance, 'di ba? Pag in a construction site, merong safety program. Safety program gawa ng safety officer. Actually pinapasa po yan sa building permit. Bago ka magka-building permit, you pass a safety program kay Dole. Pipirmahan nila 'yon. Pinirmahan din ng safety officer 'yon. So another safety officer can monitor that safety program sa job site. Yan. So ba't natin kailangan mag-comply? So yung pag-monitor or pagkakaroon talaga ng safety program sa job site, it's a part of safety compliance. Nag-comply tayo dun sa dapat na na protocols. Yan. What's the importance to protect workers, prevent accidents, legal and financial implications of non-compliance? Kasi alam niyo po, pag si Dole nag-inspect, dati kasi nung wala pang 11058, memo, written, ganyan. Pero ngayon, 100,000 yung penalty. Maximum of 100,000 yung penalty per day until you complied. Bibigyan ka naman ng memo ng DOLE like ganitong araw, depende sa ano no, sa makita nilang non-compliance. Then you need to comply after that, for example, 1 week. If wala pa rin, talagang that 100,000, kasi ano yan patong-patong not registered kay DOLE, wala kang safety program, wala kang safety officer. Kunyari, yun sa 15K, 20K, pag nag-add yan, kunyari 150K, mabait pa si DOLE, limit lang, ano lang, 100K lang, pero per day. Gets nyo? Yan yung safety compliance. Private sector. So, kung mga challenges no, na nakikita natin, kasi private sectors naman talaga yung affected no, nito. So, cost-cutting measures affecting safety provisions, lack of training, and safety awareness in smaller firms. May mga maliliit pa rin company na hindi alam na kailangan po ng safety officer. Baka po makatagpo kayo ng ganon. Actually, kung baka isa rin na isa rin sa mga bakit kaya marami pa po hindi nakakalam na safety. Lalo na sa mundo nating mga civil engineers na nasa construction. So, lack of training kasi number one, reason daw, hindi po sinusuportahan at walang balak suportahan ng management. Kasi yung tingin nila sa safety, gastos. Kasi magpapatraining ka, magpapacourse training ka sa company, di ba? Gastos yun. Bibili ka ng mga hard hat, ng mga PPE, ng mga safety shoes, gastos yun. Yung mga sinusuot, mga PPEs na kailangan for ano. So, tingin nila, talagang expenses, therefore, cost cutting. Yan. So, solutions, investing in workers training and development. Magpa-training ka, tamang training no, sa crane, meron talaga mga NC2, ganyan. Yung mga nag-welding, may NC2 certified. Yung mga engineers, may course, kailangan may, at the same time, may safety knowledge sila, ganyan. So, collaborating with safety consultancies to ensure compliance. Nandito po kami. Kami po ay isa sa mga safety training center and consultancies para dyan. Public sector. It is just on the year 2020 that nagkaroon talaga ng mas iba yung partnership ang DOLE with the public sector. No? Dati hindi pinapakialaman. So DPWH guidelines, then contractors license law. So contractors must comply with safety regulations to maintain licensing. Yan yung mga pickup license. Kaya po, familiar po ba kayo sa pickup? Requirement po sa pickup ang COSH. Requirement sa pickup ang COSH. So enforcement, regular site inspection by government projects. Yan. Penalties for non-compliance. Yung nabanggit yung 100,000 per day. Common issues, delay in compliance, budget. Yan, yun pa rin. Hindi pa rin sinusuportahan yung budget. So, this is just a new law. Ito nga po, may joint memorandum ang, di ba alam po ninyo pa government, civil service commissions yan. No? Ito is JMC, Circular Number 1 in 2020, Occupational Safety and Health Standards for the Public Sector. So, lahat, in short, encompassing, hindi lang po private. For the longest time, it's always private. But now, simula na nagka-pandemic, talagang na-realize din nila. Yan. So, lahat na po ng aspect ng operations, public and private, ay dapat may safety officer. Therefore,